What if I told you there was a way to lose weight that you've probably never ever heard of before? Our source material today is all about a mysterious, kind of counterintuitive method that promises exactly that. Okay, let's get into it.
So the source just comes right out of the gate with this incredibly direct, almost confrontational statement. It's a really bold claim, right? It immediately makes you think, wait, what have I been missing?
And this is the central puzzle we're going to solve today. The source asks a question that seems to defy, well, everything we know about calories and weight loss. How could this possibly work? Let's find out.
All right, before we dig into the how, we've got to understand the what. So first, let's just look at the wild promises this method makes, because they are nothing like what you've heard before.
Okay, get this. The promises are pretty radical. You keep eating the same food, the same amount of food, and you don't have to change your workout routine at all. No special diet, no pills, no surgery, and you can forget about counting calories. The source is basically saying the problem isn't what or how much you're eating, it's something else entirely.
So if it's not any of those normal things, what is it? Let's pull back the curtain on the actual method.
We already know it's not about what you can and can't eat.
And it's definitely not something you pick up at the pharmacy.
And nope, it's not about spending hours on the treadmill. So what's left? What could it possibly be?
This, the number 50. According to the source, the entire method, the whole secret, boils down to this one simple action. You have to chew every single bite of food 50 times before you swallow. That's it. That's the whole thing.
Now, I know what you're thinking. That sounds way too simple, right? But the source actually provides a pretty deep scientific explanation to back it all up. So let's get into the hidden science of how this is supposed to work.
So the explanation starts by introducing what the source calls the 6 stakeholders of digestion. Think of them as the key players on your body's team. You've got the obvious ones like your teeth and tongue, but then you've got some behind-the-scenes players like lymph vessels and intestinal villi. The argument is that intense chewing sends a signal that gets this entire system prepped and ready for perfect digestion.
This right here is the core of the whole theory. It's a little bit of basic chemistry. See, most of the food we eat is acidic. On the flip side, our saliva is alkaline. So when that acidic food enters your mouth, it immediately meets this alkaline saliva and they start to neutralize each other.
So, here's the crucial part. All that chewing isn't just about breaking food into smaller pieces. Its real job is to mix the food with enough alkaline saliva to completely change its chemical state from acidic to alkaline before it ever leaves your mouth. That's the key. To really drive this point home, the source points to nature's perfect first food, breast milk. It has a pH of about 7.4, which means it's naturally alkaline. The argument here is that our bodies are literally designed from birth to receive food that's already in an alkaline state. The source calls this whole process the digestive series. And check this out. Our only job, our only responsibility in this entire chain is step 1. That's it. Just the chewing and saliva part. After that, our body's automatic systems take over. Nature handles the rest. And getting that first step right is apparently everything. When you swallow a perfectly prepared alkaline piece of food, you're sending the correct instruction to the rest of your digestive system. It's like giving it a perfect head start, allowing it to work efficiently and absorb nutrients the way it's supposed to. Okay, so we've covered the theory. Now let's move on to the action plan, how you would actually put this into practice. This chart really shows the problem perfectly. The source says that the average person who's overweight chews a bite of food only about 12 times. 12! And the goal is 50. That is a massive gap. It means a huge amount of the initial digestive work is just being completely skipped. To put that in perspective, the source uses a great analogy. Chewing just 12 times is like stopping an app download when it hits 24%. The process is just incomplete. You wouldn't expect the app to work, so why would we expect our digestion to work properly? You know, interestingly, the only foods the source calls dangerous are liquids. And why? Well, it's pretty simple. They bypass that crucial first step entirely. You don't chew liquids, so you don't mix them with saliva, and they don't get neutralized before hitting your stomach. So, the instructions to get started are almost ridiculously simple. You take a bite, and then, this is the most important part, you put your fork or your sandwich down. This frees up your hands so you can just focus on chewing. You chew relentlessly up to that 50 count. Swallow, and only then do you pick up your fork for the next bite. Now, 50 chews sounds like a lot of work. The source offers this final, pretty stunning piece of perspective. Your body takes anywhere from 1 to 3 days to fully digest a meal. The time you spend chewing
It adds up to only 0.5% of that total effort.
And that leaves us with one last, really provocative question. Your body does all the heavy lifting, 99.5% of the work. The source is simply asking, are you doing your tiny, but absolutely critical 0.5%? It's a fascinating thought to chew on.